Might even be able to finish this one a little early today. Maybe we could play a math game. We'll just see, or do some Dreambox too, I guess. Okay. Just waiting for the video to start. Okay, fifth graders. So I want to start today. I'm going to share my camera, and then I want to start by talking about the subtraction of numbers today and things that we need to keep in mind and how number systems change when we subtract. So I know I've got my camera shared, but give me just a moment to get all of my screens reorganized. Because of course, when you share them in Zoom, they go all kinds of different directions. All right. There you guys are. Let me pull you back. Oh, where'd you go? Where are you? Hold on, I gotta find the screen. Okay. There we go. My goodness, the Zoom screen where all of your tiles are was just disappearing on me. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, fifth graders. So I want to start by thinking today about numbers, and when you have, say, a number, let's say that we have 5. Okay, so let's say that we have 5, and I'm going to draw out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thumbs up if you're with me so far. Wow, I had only 2 thumbs up, so I'm going to guess that we need to review 5 and the value of 5 because I only had 2 thumbs up. So let me repeat that. I've got 5 and I drew out 5, so thumbs up if you're with me so far. Okay, there we go. Now we got more thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, so I guess we are good. Okay, so let's say that I have 5 and I want to take away 7 from there. I want to subtract 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, what happens now? 5. Uh-oh. Anybody want to raise their hand and talk about like what's happening? Julia, what's happening now?
Well, you're subtracting a bigger number from the smaller number, and like, since there isn't enough, you have to go like lower than 0.
So what do you mean lower than 0?
So I'm talking about like negatives. So like they're basically like positive numbers, except like they go backward. So yeah, and they have like the minus sign in front of each.
Okay. So you're saying that we are ending up like we are taking away too many. We're going down to a situation where we have less than 0. Okay. So hold on, I'm just looking for my math tool. I wonder where it went. There. I'll use this one. Okay, so I was going to demonstrate. So we need 2 more, right? Like we need 2 more. We don't have enough. So I can also show this on a number line, as Julia was saying, and thank you, Julia. Okay. So I'm going to use a vertical number line to show this. And let's say that we are plotting out. We can start with 0 here.
I didn't get that.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll make this 5. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we have the 5, but we want to take away 7. So we would go, okay, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, we don't have enough. So now we could look at going to a negative place, 6, 7. Okay, so today we just want to keep in mind that sometimes we don't have enough. And if we're heading into a negative number situation, we want to stop today. So that's what we need to know about negative numbers today. So if we are plussing and minusing today in our work, and we come to a negative number situation, we have to stop. That's not a way we can go today. That's not a path we can follow.
You can also just do like, so the normal is 5, you can just do plus 10 and then make it 15. Oh yeah, but then you'd have to follow something you can't.
Well, and we don't have, yeah, exactly. We don't have anything to regroup from here. Yes, Leah, if we had any kind of 10s here, we could, yes, regroup over into the 1s and then we would be okay. But unfortunately, we don't even have that to regroup from. So that's where we do want to keep in mind today. And we will need to think about regrouping today. And if we need to regroup over or regroup either way today, either up a place value spot or down a place value spot. But we want to make sure that if we're headed to a territory where it's negative, where we don't have enough to subtract, that we're going to stop and choose a different path today. So that's just something I wanted to introduce to you. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a picture. And I would like to start by exploring this picture. And what do you notice and what do you wonder? So let me zoom all the way out so you can see the whole thing. Let's take a quiet private minute. Just study that and think about the questions. What are you noticing? What are you wondering? Let's take a quiet private minute. Everybody just think. And then when we're ready to share, we'll ask you to raise hands. So study it carefully. What do you notice? There's a lot going on here. All right, fifth graders, let's go ahead and share. Please use the raise hand button. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Leah, what do you notice? What do you wonder?
I noticed there was a finish, by the P it says finish. So maybe it's like, we're gonna have to do like different problems to make a word that ends with the P, because that's by finish. By the word.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Leah. Maddie, what about you? What do you notice? What do you wonder?
I see a finish, but I wonder if there's like a start, because it doesn't say start anywhere, but I wonder if like there's something else added that you're not showing, and then there's a start there.
Great, thanks, Maddie. Irene, how about you? What do you notice? What do you wonder?
I noticed that there's a finish, so I'm wondering if it will be like a maze.
All right, thanks, Irene. Julia, what do you notice? What do you wonder?
I noticed that there are positive numbers and negative numbers by each letter.
Okay, thank you, Julia. Cawthor, what do you notice? What do you wonder?
Well, I noticed that there's some decimals
Awesome. Anybody else? What are you noticing? What are you wondering? All right, let's take a look now with some more details on this image and see if we can start thinking through today's challenge or today's practice. Okay, so several of you made the connection of the finish and wondering if there was a start. So I guess we have that answered for us. There is in fact a start today, and it's over here on the opposite side of the finish. We've got the start, and notice that they have started with a value of 8 7/10 today. 8 7/10. So today they want you to make a path. They would like you to make that path having the greatest value possible. So when you get over to the finish, you want it to have the greatest value possible out of any of the routes that you can take today, any of the ways that you can go. Try to make it have the largest outcome when you're done today. And so you will need to calculate the value of the path that you're making today. Now, this is challenging today because there are quite a few rules that we have to be made aware of. So a couple things we have to make sure we're following today. You can move right, so that means you can go this way, but you cannot move left or backwards. So what they would mean is if you would do something like this, if you would come to a situation where you start here at A and you go down.
Is it me or did she freeze?
She froze.
You froze.
She froze.
She looks like she's just very puzzled on what to do.
Yeah.
E to C, you could go C to E, and then you could go H or J, but you could not go back to B.
Could
Wait,
maybe
can you
we
repeat that?
say that? Because
Time out, time out. If you have a comment or a question, I'm going to ask you to use the raise hand button, please. That's how we handle those types of things. Thank you. Zach, did you have a question or a comment?
Can you do that again? Because you froze in the middle.
Gotcha. Okay. So
For
with the rules today, we have to keep in mind that they have some very specific guides that you have to follow, some rules. So they say you can only move to the right, or what they're calling forward. You cannot move to the left or backwards. So, for example, if you were starting at A, you could move forward to G, then you could continue your journey and go forward or right to F, but you cannot go backward or right to C. So once you get as far as F, you would have to move forward or left, so you could only go to J or N. And then once you got to N, like you could not go back to K, that would be backwards or left, but you could only go forward to M. So that will be very limiting in the path that you follow today. Once you get going, there's only so many places you can go. Did that help, Zach?
Yep.
Okay. Leah, did you have a question or comment?
what do like the minus and plus mean? Like on the see like the -7.
Mm-hmm. So those are the values of that path and how you're
but
going
what is
to
-7 and what is like plus 2.8?
So those are the values of that path that you would take. So say you went from A to B. If you choose to travel from A to B and go that way, that has a value of 2.8. So you're going to take your starting amount, your starting value of 8 7/10, and you're going to adjust it every time you go down a path. So the plus or minus is telling you what the value of that path is worth. So if it has a plus, you're going to add it you're going to add this value to whatever you previously had. And if it's a minus, you're going to subtract it from whatever you previously had. So the value, and remember, we want to try to get over here with our highest value possible. So we might need to experiment with a couple different paths today, right?
That makes sense. But also, how are you supposed to like if you have like two numbers, so like 8.7, and you want to minus 7, how would that work?
Okay, well, we can get into that a little bit later, but if you have 8 and 7/10 and you want to subtract 7, well, your 7's a 1, right? So we're going to take 7 ones away from the 8 ones that we have. And that would leave us with 1 and 7/10.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions so far or comments? So this will be your math practice today. You're going to want to build that path with hopefully the outcome of the highest value you can find. Now, there are some paths that you cannot take, and we're going to look at some examples quickly, and then I'll let you go ahead and get started with your practice today. Okay, so they've got a couple examples here, like we've got 2 yeses and 2 nos. So I'm going to zoom in on, I'm going to start with a no path, and let's talk about why we know that this is a no path. So here's this first path that they've marked. Study that for a moment, and if you can't see the values, I'll go ahead and go over those for you. This one's 4.9. This one's 3.9. Okay, so why do we think that this path that a student marked is considered a no? Why can they not go this way? Caleb, what's your thinking on that?
He technically did take a left at one point, but from certain perspectives that could have been a right, but it is still a left according to what you have said.
Yeah, this part right here, this would definitely be left or backwards because we're going, yeah, forward, right? So we cannot do that, correct? So please remember that that's something you cannot do, is go left or backwards. Okay, what about this one? Why was this one marked as a no? Gabriel, why do you think this one was marked as a no?
Because at the -7 mark, this person was going backwards, and you can't go backwards. And also at the plus, and also at the spot under 1.2. Yeah, there.
Like plus
There.
3.
Oh, I see. Yep, from here to here. This also would be a backwards or a left. Okay, gotcha. So there's 2 backwards moves in there. Yep. Okay, so good. So hopefully you guys, you seem to be clearly understanding that you can only go forward or right and not backward. These would be considered backwards and lefts. Good. Okay. So hopefully that won't be unclear for you today. Now, the other thing we want to...
The B one, that would be wrong because you can't go left, I thought.
Which part are you talking about? Are you talking from here to here? That one's okay. Okay, so the other thing we want to keep in mind is if you don't have enough, you can't go that way. So there will be some paths that you will want to follow that you cannot go that way if you don't have enough. If you're headed into a negative situation where you don't have enough to subtract it, if it happens to be a value where you subtract, you cannot go that way. So if you come to the place where you're going forward and then you run out of, say, money, or however you're thinking of this, if you run out of points, and like over here, say you were going to go to this -7, and if you didn't have enough, you would have to stop and go back and try again if you're headed to a negative number spot. So that's really the two things that you have to keep in mind today. Can I go this way because it is forward and not backward? And do I have enough to go that way? Now, if you're adding, obviously that's not an issue, but if you're subtracting, you have to make sure that you have enough. And then I know we could look at these, but I don't want to give away different paths to you. But do keep in mind, you see how the paths flow forward and there's no backwards. This is the type of flow that we would want to see to our paths today. Okay, so this slide right here is the one that is going to need to be completed by you today, or where it's one of the possibilities of where you can put your work today. And they have an example that they wrote in here of how you can mark your path today. You can use the points, the plot points, to say, so this path would go A to B, to D, to H, to L, to P. So that was one path that this person chose. And then you have to show your work today by how you found your path. So some sort of, and you'll want to show your value as well. So your outcome, whatever your finish value is, you have to show that as well. So this is really the only slide that you have to complete today. Now, if you want to complete that in your notebook or some other way, that's fine. But what you have to show today is the path you took and how you got the final value for your path and how you know it is the highest value path. So you might, like this person, if you go, do this way, the one that they've marked here, and you have some more time, you probably want to keep going with more paths because you're looking for the highest value today, right? So you're probably going to be working with calculating the value of more than one path today. Okay, so I'll give that a moment to just rest there and let you take a look. And then if you have questions, let's go ahead and start answering those questions. And while we're doing that as well, I'm going to go ahead and publish the assignment so you can copy your slide. It will be 2.23, choose your own path in the math course. So it is there now. If you refresh, you will find it. You can copy your slides and look them over. Let's all make sure that we have our slides open and we're ready. All right, Maddie, did you have a question?
So basically left is backwards and right is forwards?
Yes.
Okay.
Julia, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Zach, did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay.
But I do have a funny comment, but I'll wait after all the other questions.
Cool. Okay. Cawthor, did you have a question?
No, that was from earlier.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so hopefully everyone heard the assignment is now published. It is on Canvas 2.23. Go ahead and open it up, copy, and you can begin working. Owen, did you have a question?
Are we doing this with partners?
Nope, we're going to do independently or together in the main session.
Okay.